Greetings, sports fans, and welcome to the latest edition of the Emporia Sports Buzz.
That's all I got for today.
High school edition. That's your line, Michael. That's your line. This is Jesse, Newell Gazette sports reporter. Joined alongside I was by Michael, the man, the myth, the legend, Ashford. Michael, say hi to everybody out there.
I'm excited. My life is about to be sucked away for the next 2 weeks because of 4 basketball tournaments. So this should be fun. I'll at least have a lot to talk about.
Don't say sucked away, Mike. Sucked away means you get to go to tournaments, you get to watch lots of basketball, and you get to have some free food at one auditorium. That sounds good to me.
According to my wife, my life is being sucked away right now. So that's how it goes. I do whatever she says.
A matter of opinion. Well, this is the Emporia Sports Buzz, where you turn to all your local commentary, information, news, info. But let's start off like what I was doing with Emporia High, Michael. And Emporia High girls, they were on a roll. They were #1 in the state. Lose their first game in Junction City. Kind of talk about that game. Up in Junction City, their first true road test, and I guess that's when they didn't pass.
Yeah, the Emporia High girls just never could get to that point. Kind of like the ESU men over this last week, and I know we'll get to that in the college sports buzz, but could not make that one big shot there late in the later stages of the game to really lift them over the top, especially in the third quarter when, I believe they got within 1 point of Junction City 8 times. And actually had the score tied twice, but never took a lead in that game, and that's ultimately what doomed the Lady Spartans. First loss of the season, 62-53, and they played a good game. They just could not handle Junction City's defensive pressure. Too many turnovers against a very, very good Junction City team. Let's not forget this team is still ranked number 5 in Class 5 or 6A in the new rankings. So Junction City is a good team. They're at the top of the league right now. The Lady Spartans are still very powerful this year. They weren't going to go undefeated, and if you're going to lose to Junction City on the road in their home gymnasium. The Lady Spartans are fine. They hadn't seen a test like Junction City to this point in the season, and they almost came out and beat them. So yeah, things are okay for the Lady Spartans.
I do have a question for you though. With Emporia High, as well as they've been playing, the Lady Spartans really on a roll the last 2 games. How jarring is this for their confidence? Because really, they were about as confident as you could be going into that game, and now it seems like, oh wait, we played a good team and they beat us. How jarring do you think is that for their confidence?
I'll tell you what, the Lady Spartans after this game were as even-keeled as I've seen this team after a loss in my 1.5 years here now. I mean, they took the loss, they knew that they needed to learn from it, and now they just took the mindset of, all right, let's build from this. I mean, I think they knew they weren't going to go undefeated either. Yeah, you would have liked to have get this nice win, kind of get that signature win. Right now, the win over Hayden's probably that one for the Lady Spartans. But they seemed genuinely ready to move on from it, not going to dwell on this. They have Leavenworth, which isn't a very good team, coming up on Tuesday, and then they go right back out on the road to Washburn Rural on Friday. Washburn Rural is right ahead of the Lady Spartans in the Centennial League standings as well, 4-0 in the league. That's another game against a ranked team on the road, a chance to maybe prove that they learned from the loss.
Let's switch real quick to the Emporia High boys, and we're kind of a reversal of fortunes again. The Emporia High boys play as well as they have all year and really dominate Junction City. I know Coach Bloomquist went over to Coach Nineset and got a little bit of help on offense. Just kind of talk about them, Michael, and how good of offense they play against Junction City.
In the first 6 games of the season, the Emporia High boys had just been stale. They had been stagnant on offense, getting all of their scoring from Taylor Euler, Troy Pierce, and Keisha Bloomquist. And Coach Rick Bloomquist basically said, all right, we've got to change something. We've got to get other guys involved to become a more balanced team. He goes to Coach Nineset and says, how do you run your offense? And then, they spent 3 days working on the Emporia High girls' version of the 3-man motion, and it works perfectly the first time they use it in a game. I mean, the Spartans looked absolutely dominant against Junction City, and Junction City's not a bad team. Yeah, their record is I believe 3-5 now or something like that, but this was still a win over a Class 6A team on their home court, and you beat them 64-42 by 22 points there. I mean, it was absolutely phenomenal to see the difference in balance and scoring and defense that this switch on offense primarily brought to the Emporia High boys.
We were looking for kind of the stepping up of the Torreses, the Canaleses, the Brandon Childs of the world. They did against Junction City. Also, it does say something for Coach Bloomquist, because after 20 years of coaching, he doesn't really have to stop and say, hey, wait a minute, I need help from someone else. He could, kind of think of like a know-it-all and say, hey, I've coached before, I know how to do this, but to take a step back, to look at his team and say, hey, we need a change up here. We need something to do differently. I think that says a lot about him and how far he's willing to go to maybe try to make this team better than it has been early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, let's not joke. This was a big move by Coach Rick Bloomquist to do this because he had, Kadrick came back off of his knee injury and had, I believe, 23 points. Then you have five or six other guys who score, most of them right around that 6 to 8 point range, which is something that had not happened all year. I mean, the most they'd had, I believe, is 4 or 5 guys. Usually it's Kadrick with about 20, Taylor with about 15, Troy with about 10, and others with 1 or 2. The scoring balance was so nice in this game, and I think that's the biggest change for this move is you're going to see the ball spread out a lot more. The Spartans just look so comfortable running it for the first time. It was pretty amazing to see.
Let's get to area high schools real quick. I know the girls' side, Hopi continues to roll. I do want to mention Madison in there. Madison gets 32 points out of Morgan Stout. Pretty good game for her against Mendocino Valley as they roll. Kind of setting up for the Lyon County League tournament. Those look like kind of the top range teams, along with Lebo can be thrown in there. Boys side, Northern Heights just keeps winning on the boys side. Were they 8-0 or 9-0 now? And so they roll into the Flint Hill Shootout this weekend, or this week coming up at White Auditorium. Still undefeated, still with that lofty record. But again, it's pretty top heavy in the boys side of things. Again, Olpe is up there. You got Madison.
Mendocino Valley, Hartford, all good teams.
A lot of very good teams up there. So it will be an interesting Lyon County League tournament to say the least. Even though you say that you're going to be suffering through it, I'll enjoy some good basketball. You can suffer all you want to.
It should be some. I mean, if you look at both the boys and the girls side, first with the Flint Hill Shootout. I mean, the Northern Heights boys are, I would say, the easy favorite to win this. I mean, they go in as the #1 seed, the only team that's undefeated, and it's not even close. I think the next runner-up is like 4-3 or something like that. In Northern Heights girls, they obviously want to go in with something to prove. They go up against #1 Osage City in the first round of pool play, so they've got a big chance there. The boys' side of the Lyon County League tournament coming up next week, if you look at what Madison's capable of, if you look at what Lebo, the talent they have, if you look at Mendocino Valley and Hartford and what they could potentially bring to the table, Olpe boys are certainly not going to have a romp through this. I mean, by no means. Those are 5 good teams there who have a chance of winning this. And you can never count out a team like Waverly possibly stealing a win here or there. On the girls' side, I haven't seen anybody challenge Olpe yet. Linden actually plays Olpe this weekend. The Linden girls are pretty good, even though they suffered their first loss this last week to Madison. But right now, Olpe on the girls' side looks to kind of be the clear favorite there.
Real quick, we'll go to EHS swimming, and Aaron Clark hurts his shoulder. We'll see kind of with state and league and all the big meets coming up, kind of how he fares with that. Also, the wrestling team comes back, gets a 7th place finish. A little more lucky with the 7 this time because they were at 14th after the first day. Got some good wrestling from some upperclassmen and some underclassmen alike on that last day to kind of get up there and get to 7th.
Yeah, I mean, it's still, the Spartans they're trying to figure out how to put a whole tournament together. Friday down at the Newton tournament, they wrestle only so and get beat quite a bit. Saturday they come back, beat a lot of those guys that beat them on Friday, have a lot of fire. Coach Buckby really liked what he saw. He saw what this team could potentially be, moving up from the 14th place team to the 7th place team to finish. I want to mention that Sal Tovar and Justin Rose each finished 3rd, and that's pretty good considering where this team was at on Friday. So if Coach Buckby's hopeful that Saturday of the Newton tournament is kind of a turning point, just like Coach Rick Bloomquist is hopeful that the game against Junction City was a turning point for his basketball team.
We'll see if they can continue those things on. I think that's all the time we got this week, Mike. For Jesse Newell, Gazette Sports reporter, and Michael, the man, the myth, the legend, Ashford, Gazette Sports editor, we're going to sign off for the Emporia Sports Buzz. But before we go, Mike, we need some advice for the kids out there.
Just take a tent and a sleeping bag out to White Auditorium these next 2 weeks because there's a lot of basketball to be played. So just kind of camp out at White Auditorium. It'll be fun.
It's a great place to be.
I know I'll be there.
It's a great place to be no matter how bad Mike tries to make it. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.